But I do want to say to you, first of all, that when I see you, I feel this great love in my heart for you. You're very, very precious to us, and very, very precious to the Blessed Mother, because she needs people like you to be her beloved children who will bring a love of Jesus to the world. That we know of the suffering of our brothers and sisters, of young adults, of young people, of children. I've said this to you before. The saddest thing of all in life right now is the suffering. So many children are suffering. And so many of our brothers and sisters are filled with despair. And there's a huge rise, as we know, in what's called the deaths of crisis. People in crisis and committing suicide and overdosing drugs, and their lives just careening out of control. And there's so many young people dying deaths of crisis, as they're being called now by sociologists. And it's because of the terrible thing that's happened in our world, that young people, that Jesus has been taken more and more out of the lives of our young people, of our families, of our society, our schools. And there are so many people speaking against faith in Jesus, and it's a terribly frightening thing that's happened. And I just came back from 4 days of meetings with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. About 200 bishops from around the country gathered together in Fort Lauderdale for about 4 days. We had meetings and we talked about many things, but one of the things that's mostly on people's minds is what's happening to our young adults and young people. And Pope Francis called some bishops from around the world and people from around the world to come together for a synod in October. And Bishop Barron is going, Archbishop Gomez is going, but they're going to talk about how do we reach young adults. And so that's why I'm so grateful that here in our St. Gabriel region we have young people like you. And I was listening to all the conversations, but I kind of feel in my heart, I didn't say anything because I do, but I know in my heart that here in St. Gabriel we're beginning. Something new is happening. The Spirit of the Lord is upon you, and the Spirit of the Lord is doing something new among us. In this region of St. Gabriel, who announced the good news to Mary, that through her something new is beginning in the world. Right, the birth of bringing Jesus into the world. And in this region of St. Gabriel again is bringing, through the intercession of Mary, through the love of Mary, something new is happening among us. It's very important what you're doing here. Very, very important. And it's surprising, but it's not really happening. I don't know, it's happening only in a few places. But it seems to be focusing around here. Don't you think, Keith? It seems to be something special around here. And people are looking to all of you. And there's a sense of expectancy, right? And so that's beautiful. And we're just being guided. I know we're being guided step by step by step. The most important thing we can do is to stay close to Jesus and His Blessed Mother. And like this beautiful image shows, that will help us to be more and more open to the Holy Spirit. But that's our main work. stay close to Jesus, to the Blessed Mother. I have to learn, I think, in my own life how to open up my heart more and more to the Holy Spirit. This is what I started off by getting into that deeper relationship with Jesus. I think Jesus tried to bring me into that deeper love of Him many, many years ago. When I was in the seminary, I probably went to the seminary thinking, well, I want to do some good in the world. I didn't really go with any great spiritual fervour, to say, and I got 2 degrees. I was studying all the things you have to study. I did a degree in English and philosophy, I did a degree in theology, but it wasn't until actually that they were going to kick me out of the seminary that I something began to happen in my life. I became, they were trying to decide if they were going to vote and let me stay in or let me stay out or to kick me out. But at that time I said, well, I better start praying here. I didn't really actually even say that, I just went and started praying. And I would do the Station of the Cross, and I would say my rosary, and I began to understand a bit about that when Jesus was calling me to be a priest, He wasn't calling me to anything exalted. He was calling me into a deeper walk with Him on the road of suffering. And I began to realize that when you go with Jesus, you go to the humblest place. You go to the place where you don't even look holy. You're just in the humblest place, walking with Him. And I began to find, actually, in just those hours of prayer I would spend with Jesus, I began to experience something very, almost like warm within. And then in the morning, actually, all my friends were ordained deacons, and this was a big moment that we were all waiting for 6 years already, and they were ordained deacons, and all their families came for the Mass, beautiful Mass with the bishop and everything, and I was outside. I wasn't being ordained. They said, well, you have to go to the United States and work in a parish and see how you do there, and it's up to them if they want to ordain you or not. But at the seminary decided they didn't want to. So, but it was, but I remember that morning, they were out to the chapel. I went down to the local store to get a newspaper, and I was walking down the street. It was a beautiful morning, and just the beginning of June, and I just said, Lord Jesus, now, if you want me to be a priest, lead me to that. If you don't, that's fine too. But no matter what happens from now on, I'll just stay close to me. Just stay with me. That's all I will ask for now. And I felt this joy in my heart. This joy in my heart that was a beautiful, was a sweeter joy than I've ever experienced all my life up to that point. I was only 18 years old at the time. No, I was 24 years old at the time. I'd never experienced that kind of joy. And then I must say, well, eventually I became a priest and went into South Central Los Angeles as a pastor way back in the 80s, before most of you were born, and the gangs and the killings and the riots and I must say I began to really work very hard on the justice issues and helping the young people and working in the streets and working police and sheriffs and gang intervention. And I think I was so busy about the work of the Lord, I forgot the Lord of the work. And I was flying high. You didn't want this to be a whole testimony, but anyway, I'm giving my testimony. But I want to share this with you. I was flying high. I was invited. I met Bill Clinton many times when he came to Los Angeles working on different issues after the riots. I was invited to the White House when George Bush became the president. I was involved in many meetings in Sacramento, and the Archdiocese. And I was in the meantime going back always into South Central, working on the streets down there. But then my life began to fall apart, and I told some of you this story before, but my brother Liam died at 56 years old, died of a heart attack. And my brother Dan, a year later, died when he reached 56. I was 52 at the time, and my father had died when he was 52. And my sister got cancer. Everything went wrong in the new parish I went into. People turned against me because I was trying to start a school for young people who were in gangs, to help them to, and some people turned against me because of that, and the parish there. And it was just terrible, terrible time. And I got burnt out completely, and I was almost destroyed. My health was destroyed. But that really was when the Lord, I guess I had said to the Lord before that began to happen, so be careful what you say to the Lord, because He'll take you seriously. I had said to Him, because I guess I knew I was kind of just going so many directions and so busy and everything. And so I did say to Him, Lord Jesus, I'm willing to go to the lowest place with you. If that's where I can find you, I'm willing to let everything go and just go to the lowest place with you. And I remember very consciously saying that. I remember the place I said it and the moment I said it. But I guess it started happening. Bit by bit it started happening. And I had to actually go to the diocese and say, I can't do this, I need to go away for a while. And I went away to a place over in Texas, to a kind of retreat center, and I was there more or less alone because they closed down for Hurricane Rita. And I was there for about 10 weeks, and just not even knowing if I was going to be able to come back and be okay. My health was ruined completely. But that time I did meditation. So for me there was a kind of number of steps. None of these had their steps. One was, first of all, start talking to Jesus, just talking to Him. I'd always prayed to God, but I just started talking to Jesus. And I began to feel He was walking with me even in my brokenness. And then I began to also do the prayer of meditation. Just like Elijah in today's reading from the Book of Kings, he didn't find God in the powerful wind that crushed the rocks, or the earthquake, or the fire. He found God in a still whisper. And I began to do meditation. Just every morning, just go into the chapel and breathe softly in and out. Imagine the breath going to my heart, and imagine my heart saying Jesus. And I think I was taught, something showed me how to do that prayer. Because I've always read about meditation, but I never figured, how do you do it? And I just kind of got, this is what you do. Just breathe softly in and out through your nose. As you breathe in, imagine the breath going to your heart. And imagine your heart saying Jesus. And that became every morning I would spend, well, at that time, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. Just doing that prayer of quiet. Because what happened, first of all, I began to experience some peace. I had terrible anxiety that was destroying me before that, but now I began to experience, at least while I was doing the prayer, experience some peace. I began to realize there was like an energy of healing and peace coming into my heart. And I was physically still very destroyed, but my heart was being renewed. But I was falling in love more and more with Jesus. Just fell in love more and more with Jesus. So that even in that situation of, I My family devastated. I was away from everybody I knew here in Los Angeles. I was there on my own. For me, at that time, I began to realize that Jesus was enough. If you have Jesus, it's enough. I was actually okay. Even though my life was miserable at the time, I was actually okay because I had Jesus. And I think it was Jesus preparing me for the next phase of my life. I was probably about 50 years old then, and I didn't know if I would, like my father died at 52, or actually I was 52 at the time, if I would die then, or if I would have a few more years to live. But I just said that this is what I want to do. I just want to help people to know Jesus, know His love. So this is when I came back to the parish after about 10 weeks, just get back into the work again. But this time I didn't. I just focused on everybody I would meet in the streets or in the rectory or confession or kids in the school or whatever, parents in catechism. Just help people how to get into that relationship with Jesus. Take time to listen to them and then teach them how to get close to Jesus. So, and that the Lord began to bless me. Just bless me day by day by day. And everything I would feel blessed. And it took a long time for my health to recover, and I was doing fine, doing great, and then I got the next boom, got called to be a bishop. But I was telling somebody that you all know that it was difficult for me to leave all the people I loved and worked with for 27 years down in South LA. And I told somebody recently, I said something, I'm happy again. I'm happy again. Because when I was in South LA, once in a while over the last 4 or 5 years there, I would get this overwhelming feeling of love for the people. You know, the men we had rescued from the streets and were now serving Jesus, and the women whose lives had been destroyed were now rejoicing in the Lord, and I would just feel this love for them. I say Mass and I look out and I suddenly feel overcome with love. Almost like a father for his children, or a mother for her children. And that's why it was so hard for me to be pulled away from those people. And I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it back because of just going around from place to place to place to place. I felt I had no people. I had no people. And I had no place and I had no people. And but it's been given back to me. And like tonight I just felt it again, coming in here and seeing all of you and say, you're my people, you're my family, we're part of something together here that the Lord is doing. There's and I have that I just feel that love for you. And I just look at you and I feel love for you. Some of you know, some of you I don't know. But I can only imagine the love the Lord Jesus has for you. His great love for each one of you. Don't ever forget, He feels it. He feels it. Alright, and just a little something I want to say to you is that we've made this very complicated. But I'm telling the young people in confirmation now, I said, talk to Jesus with love. I tell them kind of jokingly, I love Bishop Barron and we've become very good friends. I say he's got about 850 videos and YouTube videos and programs. I have about one talk. And you're hearing it again. But the talk is, I want to just tell you, just talk to Jesus with love. Just take every way you can to show Him signs of love. And He appreciates it. It touches His heart. And when you do, His heart overflows with love for you. Pours out His love for you. I tell Him, I don't know if I'm theologically correct or not. Out of my Christology, I probably missed a few classes. The reason they wanted to kick me out of seminary was I was never in class. But I think that Jesus, his body is a risen body. He rose from the dead. He's a glorified risen body. But his heart is still a human heart. That's what, and it's very sensitive, very, very open, very loving heart, gentle heart, filled with love. And that's the, and that's why he only he speaks in whispers. He's gentle invitation, just like Elijah said. You know, it reminds me of when I came to this country first many years ago. When I actually, in the summertime, I used to get to leave the seminary and go off and get a job on a building sites in England, or I got a job one time in New York as a security guard in Newark. I said, I got to find an easier job than this, so I became a priest in South Central Los Angeles. But when I came to New York that time, I remember getting off the plane. I'm not going to start over the whole story again now, but I'm just trying to give this. I said, where's God in all this? All the people from every part of the world going every which way. I was just out of a little farm in Ireland, and then I saw this man who was standing at an escalator. It was way back in the 70s, and he was handing out cards to people going by. And many of them were just taking them and then dropping them. But the card said, I'm a deaf mute. I'm selling these pencils to make a living. Would you buy them, please? God bless you. So my son realized that's where God is here. He's in this man who has no ability to convince anybody, to call out to anybody. All he can do is stand there patiently, hold out the card, hoping that somebody would respond. So that's where Jesus is in our lives. He's standing there always, the very gentle one, the very vulnerable one. He actually stands there, the very needy one, who needs something from us, who has no ability to force us, but longing for some sign of love. It's an amazing thing. That's where, because he went to the lowest place. He went even to a lower place than and we've heard that, when Jesus on the cross said, I thirst. What he's thirsting for is love. I tell you people in confirmation class, in the confirmation program, that what broke his heart completely wasn't what was causing so much suffering, wasn't the nails, or the whips, or the scourges, or the lashes, or the tearing apart of his flesh, strips of his flesh being torn away. What hurt him most of all was the rejection, the lack of love. So that's what we. That's what so he's longing for your love. So don't be afraid of Jesus. Don't be afraid to draw closer to him. Don't be afraid to just speak words of love to him. I love you, Jesus. Come into my life. Guide me, be with me. I love you, Jesus. I praise you, I thank you, I glorify you. I give you thanks for all your blessings to me. Thank you, Jesus. Just keep talking to him with praise and love. Praise and love. And thanksgiving. I said he appreciates your words of kindness and love and welcome. Anybody would, right? Especially him who loves you so much and is longing so much. He says, long have I waited for your coming home to me, and living deeply our new life. He's a new life, our new life, he says. Our new life together. That's what he's longing for. And speak words of love to him in the Eucharist. Visit him in the Eucharist, receive him, talk to him with love, visit him and just talk to him. He's lonely for us, for our love. And what happens then is what we call in the theology books the baptism of the Holy Spirit. But when you talk to him with love, and even you tell him your troubles, that's just to share your troubles with him. That touches his heart, and he'll help you. Of course, he'll help you. He wants to help you. He will help you so much, and he will be happy to help you. He said, "I'm happy to help you, and happy to take your suffering onto himself." That's what happens when you speak to him with your trouble. When you look at the crucifix, and you even have a moment of sympathy for him. It's like that opens up your heart, and all his love flows into your heart. And so that's the baptism of the Holy Spirit, that when you talk to Jesus with love, his heart is filled with love for you, he pours out his love upon you. And he gives you peace and joy and faith and strength and courage and patience and wisdom and understanding and counsel and fortitude and knowledge and piety and fear of the Lord. He gives you everything. Everything. Nothing will refuse you. It's like at Mother's Day, this mom told me that her little child came in from the garden and said, I gave her a flower. She said, actually it was a weed. And I gave it back. "Mom, this is for you because I love you." And she said her whole heart was just filled with love for her little child. That small gesture of love. Okay? So I want to tell you that so that you have a way forward. That from day to day to day to day, keep remembering this. Say a rosary because you love Jesus, Blessed Mother. Go to Mass because you love Jesus, you want to be close to him for a while. Read a page of the Scripture and the Gospel. Chant your morning prayer and evening prayer. Do it all out of love. And you'll find you'll be transformed. You'll actually be transformed day by day by day by day. And you will become, you're actually becoming, and I want to thank Keith and Ivana for this very much, that they're showing us something new. That we'd all, and I'll finish with this, I promise, about 3 more minutes, but there's the theologians talk about there's 2 different strains of Christianity, streams of Christianity. One is the Christianity of the Western world. 2 streams of our Catholic faith even. One is the Latin Rite, or the Western world, where we talk about redemption. Where redemption is the main focus. So that you come close to Jesus, you receive the sacraments, and you're redeemed from sin, and you're united to the church. You're redeemed, which is very important. It's beautiful, but actually, it's why most people think that's where you stop. Then, okay, I've left the world life of sin, and I'm going to Mass, and I'm trying to live the best I can. I'm obeying the teachings of the Catholic Church, so I'm okay, but only just okay. You got a better life because you're living a good life, but you're living in a good way, but you're just okay. But the Eastern stream of Catholic faith is more focused on divinization, where you become taken over by the divine. Now, of course, there's lots of people, especially the saints in our Catholic faith, and many, many people who begin to experience being transformed too. but I think it's still a bit more powerful in the Western, in the Eastern Church. This whole process of divinization. But what you're doing, Keith and Ivana are doing with the School of Supernatural Ministry, is teaching you how to be, what are the skills to be open to being transformed, to getting the new life, to begin to live the supernatural life. So it's beautiful. It's just the most marvelous thing we could have. We could wish everybody had it. And maybe sometimes already you've already begun to experience it. Moments of joy, moments of great energy, and moments of peace, moments of knowing you're loved, moments of being touched in your heart, of falling deeper and deeper in love with Jesus, of having a deeper love for His people, for those who are suffering. So you're being transformed. It's not just that you're now living a different life, that you are saved, but now you're beginning to be transformed. So hopefully all the experience, I think that's the great gift to us, is this bringing together the Eastern, and because in our Catholic faith has the most beautiful ways of being transformed. Sacrament of confession, to free us from all the attacks of Satan or their sin, and all the other sacraments of the Eucharist where we're united with Jesus, receiving the Holy Spirit, confirmation. We have them all, but we haven't opened them up, those gifts. We haven't experienced them. The love for Jesus and the power of the Holy Spirit, we haven't had people to know how to experience them. And that's what's happening. And so this is wonderful that we're on this journey together. All right? So, okay, that's it.